Just because the year is almost over doesn't mean that our gardening season has to be. If you think it's too late to start a garden here in Florida, I hope this video changes your mind. This just in, it appears we are expecting a cold front at nighttime, temperatures dropping into the low 40s. All right, guys. Just want everyone to take a moment and congratulate themselves for surviving yet another Florida summer. Now that it's officially light jacket weather, it's time to start planning your winter harvest. In this video, I'm going to share with you what I'm transplanting, what I'm starting, what I'm succession planting, as well as other chores and tasks that should be performed in November right here in Central Florida. Let's get going. After the intense heat of the summer, your soil is starved and parched. So take this time of the year as an opportunity to feed your soil. There are three main ways that you can do that. One is collect leaves and use them to make leaf mold. Two is bury your yard waste and make a banana circle. And three, use the chop and drop method to mulch and fertilize your plants. Come with me, soon you'll be in a world of OSHA violations. So you might have noticed that your banana leaves are starting to turn yellow. The thing is, these leaves are full of nutrients, so you don't want to just bag them and take them to the curb. So what I like to do is chop them and use them as mulch around my banana plants. This is also the time that you want to start doing some of your yard cleanup, getting rid of that summer overgrowth. An ex-partner of mine once told me that he didn't like growing bananas because they're so messy. How dare these bananas make you work for the food? Ooh, passion fruit. You can just chop these, leave them on the ground as mulch, and as they decompose, they're going to release nutrients back to the bananas. There you have it, free, nutritious mulch. And if you want to learn more, I have several videos on this topic that I will link in the description and at the end of this video. November. The day just started and it feels like it's already over. One thing that's most noticeable during this time of the year is that the light has changed. The days are shorter and the sun is much lower on the horizon, which means that the spots that were getting full sun before may not be getting full sun. And so now that your days are shorter, you do want to focus on selecting sites that do get full sun. One of the most important tasks that you can do in November is preserve your fall and summer harvest. So pretty soon here, the turmeric is going to be ready for harvesting, as well as shampoo ginger. And we also have plenty of bananas. Look at this rack. I love shampoo ginger. Not only do I use it as a lotion and a leave-in conditioner, I also like to freeze it and preserve it to use in soap making year round, into making homemade botanically infused soap. We also just finished our persimmon harvest. Got one left. November is the optimal time to start your cool season crops. Now, if you're new to gardening in Florida and you're worried about the cooler temperatures of winter, fear not, because this is ultimately the best time to garden in Florida. First of all the bugs go back to hell where they belong. Second of all, the humidity and the rain is gone, which means you can finally plant those drier crops like tomatoes. And when it comes to growing cool season crops such as broccoli and kale, they can actually benefit from a little cold snap as the freezing temperatures help bring out their flavor. For us Floridians, right now until the end of March or maybe even April is the perfect time to start growing those early spring crops such as strawberries, snap peas, sugar peas, potatoes, broccoli, radishes, your cool season herbs such as dill and cilantro, and medicinal flowers. And if you want to make the most out of that vertical space and trellises, plant some snow peas. Right here we have the Sugar Daddy. This one is the Oregon Sugar Pod number 2. And last but not least is the sugar bin. And if you start them now, you should have a pretty decent harvest by the beginning of February. Growing here, we already have some onions. These are bunching onions, which means they don't form that big bulb. But if you want to grow onions, leeks, garlic, anything like that, right now is the time to get them in the ground. And remember, full sun, lots of fertilizers, and onions make a great companion plant for strawberries. If you love fresh, tender greens for salads and sandwiches, plant those seeds right now. Here we have some mesclun greens that just started a few weeks ago, and they're so crisp and fresh. So good. And don't just limit yourself to mesclun greens. Get creative. You can grow lots of different baby lettuces. My favorites are arugula, baby kale, and little gem lettuces, which is a baby form of romaine. And this year I'm also planting thyme, mint, marjoram, and hyssop to really make the most of the season. So as you can see, I already have a few things growing in this garden bed. If you watched my October garden guide video, you saw me planting several different varieties of cucumbers here. Some of them sadly did not make it. The Bait Alpha did not do too well, neither did the Bush Champion or the white spine. However, the Japanese varieties, particularly the Suyu, is doing exceptionally well, and it looks like we already have some female flowers forming. So if you know anything about growing cucumbers, we're gonna have a pretty decent harvest here in no time. So right here, I also have some rainbow carrots, the first and second succession planting. We have different varieties of radishes here. On the edge over here, I have some cilantro. And I use cilantro as a companion plant to brassicas, particularly broccoli in this case. And right here I have several different varieties of broccoli. We have Romanesco broccoli, which has like those cool geometric heads. I like growing this variety of broccoli because you can't find it in the store, and if you were, it's actually really expensive, so it's like growing money. This right here is purple broccoli, another really cool broccoli variety, and this is broccoli de Ciccio, which is a variety from Italy. And what I like about broccoli de Ciccio is that instead of producing one big broccoli head, it produces continuous young shoots that you can harvest throughout the season. And then over here on the ends, I have some sweet basil that I propagated from store cuttings. So today I'm going to plant some snow peas, little gem lettuces, mesclun greens, and I'm going to do another succession sowing of rainbow carrots. I like to sow rainbow carrots every 3 weeks throughout the cool season for a continuous harvest. I had to grab a jacket because it's when the moment that sun goes down, the temperatures start dropping, but I want to plant some of these crops before that day is done. Where would be a good spot? I think we have a little room over here. Looks like we had some carrots sprout right there, right here, and I think I'll just continue this row. And what I'm doing right now is filling in any gaps where I don't have any carrots growing. You can plant carrots pretty densely. They only need about 3 inches of space. And as you can see, I am interplanting carrots with radishes because I already have the radishes growing. They're going to be ready for harvest in probably about 15 to 25 days. And then once the radishes are pulled, that's going to give the carrots the room to mature. But perhaps the most favorite thing that I look forward to growing all year are flowers. I love using them as companion plants and also to attract pollinators. Some of my favorite go-tos every year are nasturtiums because the leaves and the flowers are edible. They also repel aphids. And of course, marigolds are a staple in every garden. And once the temperatures get too cold for marigolds, I slowly transition to growing calendula. Calendula has a bunch of medicinal properties. It's excellent for soothing the skin. So I also harvest the flowers for making homemade lotions and to use it in soaps. This year, I also wanted to focus a little bit more on pollinator-friendly landscaping. So right here we have some transplanted dahlias, snapdragons, black-eyed Susans, and Tweedium milkweed. If you remember my September guide video, this is my pollinator garden update. The goldenrod is starting to bloom. We have lots of Mexican sunflowers. Purple top vervain is blooming. We got zinnias, we have cosmos. And right now the day is almost done, but in the morning, this is a pollinator hotspot. All right, guys, you made it to the very end. In the comments below, let me know what you'll be growing this winter. And subscribe if you're new. Check out my website for an interactive garden guide at foreverfoodforest.com. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.